Hey, what's up guys? Alan here. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts on This, where I speak of my thoughts. And in honor of Disney's Freakier Friday being released on Disney Plus this past week, I'll be giving my thoughts on its 2003 predecessor, Freaky Friday, and the other two Freaky Friday films, specifically the 1976 version and the Disney Channel version. Freaky Friday centers around a mother and daughter spending an entire day in each other's shoes after switching bodies. There have been many variations throughout the years, from the 1976 adaptation starring Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris, the 2003 version with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, and a third adaptation released by Disney Channel, which was also an adaptation of the stage musical. It features Heidi Blickenstaff and Cozy Zulsdorf in the leading roles. A sequel to the second adaptation, Freakier Friday, was released this past summer, with Lohan and Curtis reprising their roles. It was later released on Disney Plus on November 12th. Now, what do I think about these films? I've seen all three, and even though they're slightly different, they're still enjoyable. I love them all. I'm a huge fan of the Freaky Friday story. It's a fun, classic premise that is filled with chaos and shenanigans, and I like that despite them being the same story with the same values, they all have their own identity. Each one has something that made them unique and still look like somewhat of an original story. The 1976 version was just simple and direct. It didn't try to overcomplicate the story, and it was very straightforward. I like that we get the daughter as the narrator within the first couple minutes. It made for a nice introduction for both the main characters, and it planted the seed for the wackiness that is about to ensue within the next couple of minutes of the film going forward. I also like in this version, we get to hear their thoughts inside their head. It made for a great POV of what's going on in their mind as they are being put in the situation of being in someone else's body. The opening credits did a great job of setting up the premise for the film, and the song fits the tone perfectly, which was this comedic, fun-filled fiasco with some lighthearted moments. The whole experience was like watching an hour-long sketch comedy special. Foster and Harris did a great job in playing each other's characters. Seeing them try to step in each other's shoes was hilarious, from moments like the daughter trying to do chores and the mom attempting to pay for the bus made for some great physical comedy. A lot of the house scene feel like something straight out of a sitcom. The car chase around the city was like a silly cartoon chase that literally just came to life. It was like a cartoon that was well translated to live action. The water ski show was equally chaotic, and being intertwined with the car chasing was just laugh out loud humorous altogether. The flaw I have with this film is the lack of development in the mother and daughter relationship. They barely interacted with one another throughout the film. Like, they were seen together in the first 5 minutes, and they don't interact again until near the end of the film when they finally switch back. I wish they had more interactions with each other because it would show how the relationship with each other developed, and it would have added more heartwarming moments. Even though I thought the brother telling his sister in her mom's body that it was hard to hate her was heartwarming within itself. But overall, it was entertaining, it was simply funny, and a pleasant watch all the way through. The 2003 version is one that I've watched so many times. It's one of my childhood favorites. I remember belly laughing throughout the film, especially during the most outrageous moments. This film is just hilarious and heartwarming. Lohan and Curtis brought both the hilarity and lighthearted moments in the film with their performance as Anna and Tess, respectively. They also brought the versatility as they were able to tap into the personalities of both characters quite easily. They had great chemistry and bounced off of each other so well. Plus, you can tell that they had fun with this film, especially Jamie Lee, who got to act like an energetic child and crowd surf like a full-on rebel rouser. And Lindsay was just a star in this film. She brought in all of the emotions with her acting, showing how versatile she is as an actress, and this role remained one of her most iconic that she did like during her prime years. As for the story, I like that we get more of an extended introduction of both lead characters, where we dive deeper into their personal lives. We get to see their internal conflicts and conflict with each other that eventually leads to them butting heads and switching bodies. I like that they did that because seeing their individual lives before they switch allows the audience to see how both characters and their relationship develop as the story progresses, where it comes to the point that they finally see each other eye to eye. The stepfather angle was the perfect element to add in a film like this. It adds more to the story arc and the mother-daughter conflict. Plus, it makes the daughter feel more relatable. I also like that this version kinda paid tribute to the 1976 version with those voices in their head scenes during certain points of the film. It shows that they respect its predecessor. Since the film was released in the early 2000s, there was a lot of that influence sprinkled throughout, from the fashion, punk rock music, and the high school drama. It fits in with the decade and the angsty teen personality of the daughter. For a 2000s film, it truly aged well with the message and the timeliness of it. Pink Slips Take Me Away is one of those songs that has been ingrained in my childhood. I remember that song being stuck in my head. It's catchy and captured that 2000s punk rock sound. Lindsay Lohan's Ultimate also captured that sound and utilized her musical talent. That song proved why she was the teen idol of her generation. This entire film is just funny and wholesome. The slapstick comedy, the jokes, and the heart is what made this film such a fun roller coaster ride of emotions. The Disney Channel version that was released back in 2018 is one of the more underrated of the other Freaky Friday films and any other Disney Channel original movie. I feel like it didn't get that much credit for how good it actually was. There were some cheesy parts, but in terms of sticking with the main scenario, it hit the right notes. I felt like it combined the best aspects of both the 1976 version and the 2003 version while also standing out on its own by being a musical. The songs were catchy and also tied into the story and character arcs. Oh Biology, for example, describes perfectly of what the mom is thinking being trapped inside her daughter's body. My favorites are Go, which brought in the summer vibes, and The False Switchback, which brought in the emotions. I also think that it's cool they have Blickenstaff reprise her role from the stage version. Her voice was fantastic and her acting was hilarious, bouncing from a detail-oriented mother to a laid-back teenager. She meshed perfectly with Zulsdorf, who was equally amazing playing both characters plus the singing. I really loved their duet near the end. It was emotional and felt like a big finale Broadway number. Also, this film was my introduction to Dara Renee. She was so good in this film, and I loved her even more in High School Musical the series and the Force Descendants film. She is a star and I hope she goes far. The film may not be as comedic as the previous films. There were some parts of it that did make it more fun. It was a good balance of paying respect to its source material and adapting the stage version while still making it feel like a DCOM. I guess my only flaw were the best friends. I felt like they were a bit snobby and they were pretty much outshined by every other character. Other than that, I thought the film did a great job in paying respect to the source material and its predecessors. Overall, all these films did a great job in telling the same story while still trying to be original and distinct in their own way. They didn't try to touch the legacy of each other, but rather put its own spin on it by making a few enhancements. Despite their differences, they were all a treat to watch, and it's fun for the whole family. Alright, that sums up all of my final thoughts on all three of these films, and if you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments, and if you haven't already, subscribe. That would really mean a lot. That's all I have to say, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!